Could it be true? Could Cor Leonis and Gentiana be married? Is it possible? Is it? What's good, peasants, fellow, how doing all? We have to break this down. I know this video, title, thumbnail, whatever I'm going to put in place, I don't know yet. I know it seems crazy, it seems out there. People are probably coming to this video with a lot of doubts, but I have to do this video, I have to cover it. Luna and Noctis, they're not going to be the only relationship in this game. I think we know that anyway. But for anyone wondering what I'm going on about, you're going to be confused off the bat if you haven't seen this video here. And this is breaking down the Shivas, and I talked a lot about doing this video, what I think of Cor Leonis and Gentiana. I teed this bad boy up, and this bad boy is also an interlude to my Chaos Theory video. And trust me when I say, guys, that video is going to be so dope, but I have to do this for consistency and to really break this down. So you know what I think about the Shivas, and you've seen what I've said. I believe strongly that the Shivas are all the former oracles. There's going to be 13 of them, and even just to support it more, you know, I said I don't believe there's only going to be 5. We had this picture on Twitter. Where is it? This one here. Now I can't even begin to break just how many Shivas I'm seeing there. I mean, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I can even make an 8 there, but I believe firmly there's going to be 13 in total. I think there's a lot of evidence for it. But what led on into that video, as you saw, was the cosmogony book, and I gave my interpretation of it on the spot. I didn't have that much time to think about it, and I think I got a few details wrong. I don't think it matters though, it doesn't change anything, but goddamn, this is always a flaw with me. I do this all the time. Whenever I see long hair, my brain goes, woman. It's a woman. It's a woman. That's not a dude. Only women have long hair, and of course that's fucking stupid, because dudes can have long hair. You know, look at Aragorn in Lord of the Rings when he's got those beautiful, long, flowing, shiny black locks. So that kind of threw me off a bit. But looking at this again, this figure with the crown, who I kind of thought might be Gentiana, that could be the king. In fact, I'm actually now thinking it is, and that even adds more consistency. All I'll say is, This is even more consistent, because I kind of thought at first, how could I explain that being Gentiana and the oracle in the background holding Gentiana? Well, now it doesn't matter, because if that is the king with the black hair, which I believe it is, I think the crown is the most indicative bit. Remember what Gentiana said? The king and the oracle must always be together. So the woman, the oracle in the back, holding Gentiana. It wasn't a trick, it wasn't a ruse, it wasn't a bit of deception like I kind of thought it might be. That is just Gentiana. Square Enix just put Gentiana holding Gentiana, and she is an oracle. Oh god, I mean, either way, there's no getting out of it. No matter which way you look at this cosmogony book, Gentiana is being referenced on it. That stick of Gentiana is not there for no reason. Gentiana is ageless, and therefore she's an oracle. The Queen Shiva. I'm convinced of it. She's the Queen Shiva. And what does this mean? There is something this changes, and that is this dude here with the black wings. Let's break down the wings. They're black. He looks like he could be an agent of chaos. Well, it depends. It depends which way this crystal is being handed over. Because a lot of people could be seeing this as the dude with the black wings, who I'll get onto who I think that is. I think everyone's thinking the same thing. All of the peasants, at least. We could look at it as the black winged dude who could look like a fallen angel, handing the crystal to the king. Now if that is the case, and I think that is the most likely one, if that is the king accepting the crystal, this crystal of power, I've said how I think the crystal is connected to chaos. I think this black angel thing being in possession or being in some sort of trade deal with the king with this crystal kind of even supports that this crystal is something of chaos rather than something of light. Crystals are usually associated with light in Final Fantasy. I think this is a chaos crystal, and I think that really connects with Ardyn putting Noctis in the crystal. As I've said, I think Noctis is going to become some sort of chaos Noctis. But going back to this picture, if this makes sense, if this is the black angel dude handing the crystal over to the king, then that is why Lucis are the only nation who have a crystal, and that, I think we have to say, that is why Noctis' household is cursed. That is why there are Lucii in the world. That is why, and I've connected that with how the Lucii are responsible for the plague of the star, a lot of the darkness in the world. It all comes from the crystal. It all makes sense. It all connects. But I'm not going to rule out the other option. What other option, Peasant? This other option. What if it's the king handing this over to the black winged dude? That ain't possible. Or it could even be possible that neither are handing it over to each other, but they're both making some sort of pact, both making some sort of deal, and whatever is going on here is going to be a part of the factor as to what enslaves the astrals to the Lucis household. I'm convinced of it. Tabitha said that this game is taking a lot of influence from FF6. I have connected FF6 to the astrals so much, how I believe that they are capturing astrals to use them to fuel the Magitech, exactly like FF6. I've connected it to the War of the Triad. I've connected it to the War of the Magi. And if we look at this, because if we look at the Final Fantasy franchise as a whole, summons and astrals, they've always been servants of mankind. I think this could be not just the king, the Lucis house are becoming corrupt. I think this could also be a depiction of the day that the astrals and the summons became enslaved to mankind, to just Lucis actually, because from what we've seen, Lucis is the only one who can summon astrals. Now some people might be thinking, well, if that case, if you go back to Kingsglaive, what about Cerberus, Peasant? Cerberus was fighting against Lucis, who's fighting against Kingsglaive. Yeah, and I think I know how they're doing that. We saw the microchips, Nyx pointed it out, and they pointed these out, these controlling chips that are turning the monsters into ferocious beings that Niflheim can fight with for a reason. And I firmly believe that Niflheim could even be implanting them on astrals. That's my best explanation for why Cerberus was fighting the Glaive. But all of that aside, all of it, let's get down to what we really want to know. Who are these figures on the book? Because that's the juiciest. So in the background, that is Gentiana. I'm sorry, it just is the way that they put her in front of her. Vase of Gentiana. I've been very suspicious of the name from day one. She's holding Gentiana, she's holding the trident. She is the Queen Shiva, she is the Oracle. Boom! One of the three off the table. Now, who is the king? Well, remember, we have to, and this is so important, to look at the parallels between Lucis and Tenebrae, between the two families. This is so key. This can't be overlooked. And who is the parallel to Gentiana on the Lucis household side? Who is the second-hand assistant, guardian, guide? Remember, I said Gentiana, if she's guiding all the oracles, who have I been saying has been guiding the kings? And of course that is Cor Leonis. And Gentiana and Cor Leonis they draw parallels to each other in so many ways. They are just as mysterious. They are both clearly ageless. One is clearly guiding the oracles, one is clearly guiding the kings. Everything that Gentiana is to Luna, Cor Leonis is to Noctis. And whoever the fuck just messaged me on YouTube, have some courtesy while I'm doing a video. So Cor and Gentiana, they are parallels. I know they are. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. And if Gentiana is here on this cosmogony book, we have to consider the possibility of Cor Leonis being on here. If it is the case that the king and the oracle should always be together, and like I said, I believe this was the last time the king and the oracle were together, and Gentiana is the oracle in this book, then who is she with? Who is this king that she is with, that she is standing beside? And I'm going to come out and say it is Cor Leonis. Against everything. I know that sounds insane, but let me just explain this. I looked at Cor Leonis and I factored in everything in my Daigoro video to the reasons why Cor Leonis is guiding every single brotherhood. I came to the conclusion that it had to be so clear that the astrals are servants of Lucis. That's why they're wearing black. And I said that Gentiana and Cor Leonis could both be former guards of Lucis. But I think I was wrong. I think I gave them both a demotion. I don't actually think they were guards. I think they were the original king and queen of Lucis. Now, I'm going to go into all the reasons, all the facts, break it down, what I've seen. This is up in the air. I want your opinion, guys, and then we're going to break down who the demon winged figure is. Let's do this. Let's go! Point number one, Gentiana has an armature weapon. Now, this is the trident, of course, and I've always thought if Gentiana has been in possession, or if the oracle's trident is indeed an armature weapon, it has to be very, very closely related to the Lucis household. This cosmogony book really makes that clear, really makes that evident that back then, if the oracle and the king are always be together, or should always be together, it's clear the reason for that is because they are the balance of light and dark in the world. It is they who safeguard our world. And if the king and the oracle, they balance the light and the dark, neither is good or bad. They are the balance, and that is why I've been saying that based on all the evidence, chaos isn't bad, darkness isn't bad. Luna Flare, god damn, she sounds like some sort of she's into torture. Oh man, imagine that. That'd be the scariest name for a female boss in Final Fantasy. Luna Flare. The Luna Flare, oh god. That's why I said that Luna Flare needs to flip on her position before it is too late, and that would have been the reason why Stella and Noctis fought. So if Gentiana has always had a armature weapon, of course, what does Cor Leonis use? He uses a katana, and we have seen indeed that one of the armature weapons is a katana. Now, I know a katana is a commonplace weapon, but I have my suspicions that Cor Leonis, that katana, that him having a katana and one of the armature weapons being a katana means something. And of course, if Cor Leonis has been guiding the brotherhood, he has seen group after group fail, then who was he? Who was he? When the first curse happened, who was he? And if he is indeed, if he does have an armature weapon, then he could be one of the kings. He could be the first king. That katana could genuinely be the armature weapon. And I've said, and why would Noctis be in possession of it? Because of course you only get an armature weapon from a dead ancestor. We've seen that. But what have I said? I've said in my Sons of Odin video, and all the connections with that, if you haven't seen that video, link in the description, that Ignis could possibly kill Cor Leonis inadvertently, that Cor Leonis is based on Baldur and Cor Leonis could die in the game. And of course, if he dies, that means his weapon, his katana, is more than free to become an armature weapon. So that's point number one. Point number two, and this came from the voice actors video, and what Cor Leonis' voice actor, Matthew Mercer, who had a CV the length of your arm, the length of 2 arms, 3 arms, actually. God damn, has anyone seen the size of this guy's CV? It's crazy. What he said in his voice actor video a day after I did my Cor Leonis video really fit the narrative of what I said, and it got me pretty hyped that I was on the right tracks with Cor Leonis. Because one of the things that was said is that Cor Leonis is having to deal with the guilt and the burden of his failure. And I think I even underestimate that. I chalk that up to being the failure and past mistakes, his failure, his past mistakes of him trying to guide the brotherhoods, trying to get them strong enough in a position where they can overcome Ragnarok. But what if that mistake is his mistake? Remember, I said this was the original sin of him accepting the temptation of chaos. If this is Cor Leonis' great mistake, and not only that, it explains the way we've seen Cor Leonis. Have you often seen him, or how he acts, and how he has this look of guilt on his face? Guilt, I don't even think guilt is strong enough. Deep, deep shame. And even the way when he says it's complicated, and after saying to Noctis, do you want to know? And Noctis just turns away and says sure. And he just walks off, after someone has just offered to tell him the truth. What does that say, that scene? And this is going a while back, this trailer. It says to me that I don't think Noctis believes that whatever Cor Leonis is about to say is going to be the truth. That's the way I get that flippant kind of sure and that walk off. That's how I get it. And the third, and this is the biggest and most mind-blowing one, or the one that's been playing on mind for a while. So there is no reason, I'll just point this out, no reason whatsoever that Cor Leonis cannot be this king. In fact, there's more reason to think he could be, because Gentiana is in this image, and because of Cor Leonis' very close relationship to the Lucis household, and because of his, I mean that's even reflected in his above average knowledge of where the ancestors' tombs are. Now, if I'm right, I said that he had to visit the tombs of his friends. But if he is the first king, the original king, it was his mistake, it was his error, Gentiana's error as well, and both Gentiana and Cor, they are trying to make up for their mistake by leading their ancestors to try to undo what they did, what they caused, what they created. If that is all true, then Cor Leonis, he isn't visiting the graves of his friends, he's visiting graves of his sons, of his grandsons, of his great-great-great-grandsons, and so they're related. Cor Leonis and Noctis are related, if that is the case, and it only makes sense that they are, because like I said, Cor Leonis to Noctis is everything that Gentiana is to Luna, and Gentiana is related to Luna Freya. They are related, and the reason for that is Gentiana has to be an oracle at this point. She has to be. This picture, I mean, it doesn't even leave a question of it anymore. Square, you've given it away. Gentiana was an oracle. And of course, I said this before and I need to stress it again. The power of an oracle is passed down through the bloodline. So just like the throne of Lucis is passed from son to son to son through the bloodline, so is the power of an oracle. Therefore, Gentiana and Luna are very distantly related. Mind equals blown. Now, whether that is a direct relation, now, as in, is the oracle's power passed down from daughter to daughter to daughter? No. Could it be passed down from auntie to niece? Could it even be passed down from auntie to nephew? Or from mother to son? You know, there's no reason to believe that an oracle can't be male. In fact, I connected the oracles to the Norse fairies in the woods. I think it's called the Ava. You can get male Ava as well, so it's not exclusive. Sorry. God, my voice. It's not exclusive to just females, and the same could be said for the kings. Who is to say that only men can be kings of Lucis? With the Lucii, I think it was even one of the Lucii in Kingsglaive really looked feminine, looked quite feminine, could pass off for a female. I'm saying this off the top of my head. I'm going to go and actually look through all the Lucii in the movie again and try to find the one. But I do know, I think it was the one with the throwing star, looked quite female. But I'll have to have a look at it again. It'll be on screen and I'll either be right or wrong on that. So they're related, and when I thought that, when that connected in my mind, my brain shot back I fell off my chair, my adrenaline spiked, and I nearly shat my damn pants. Why did you shit your pants, Pez? Let me tell you why I nearly shat my pants. Because I saw an article, I think it was about a month ago, and this was talked about all over GameFAQs, it was talked about all over Facebook, it was even discussed on Twitter. I saw loads of conversations going down about this particular detail, and what this detail was, it came from a German interview on FF15 that was done in Cologne with Tabata himself. It was said in an interview with him about German cars, music playlists, and the possibility of a few of our Final Fantasy 15 heroes among the Brotherhood. There was a relationship going on in there that was more than just friends. Now, people got discussing this. People were trawling through the possibilities, and one that really got picked up was, of course, when you say that two people could be more than just friends, people start talking about, are we going to have our first gay romance in Final Fantasy 15? Trust me when I say this was discussed a lot. And everyone was going through, so who could be gay? You know, could it be Ignis and Prompto? Could it be Ignis and Gladiolus? Now, all I'm going to say to this this interview, Tabata's saying that two of the brothers could be more than just friends, or two of the main party could be more than just friends. It could mean that they're more than just friends, as in they're brothers. So I mean, that is possible. The other possibility is, well, I'll address the gay thing first. I'm not against it at all. In fact, I was going to do a video, I'm actually still going to do it, discussing why I strongly believe, and before you get triggered by this, before you get angry, because some people really do react hostilely to this, I don't know why, but they do, I was going to do a video why I believe that Final Fantasy, its first gay couple was Fang and Vanille. I strongly believe that they were Square Enix's first exploration at exploring a gay couple in Final Fantasy. Having romantic feelings, and they've gone from being really hostile to that idea to, once I finished the discussion with them, oh, actually that makes sense. I can't believe you've actually kind of turned my mind. Oh, I don't have a problem with it now. Oh, actually that's quite cool. Honestly, I've had those discussions on forums, so I'll do that video sometime. But for now, getting back to this, all I'm going to say is they can't be gay, because that defeats the entire objective of the Brotherhood. It's not a brotherhood. If you introduce a romantic relationship between two of them, it's not a brotherhood anymore. So that would just contradict and undo everything, and that's why I'm 99.99% certain, or kind of confident, that that is not the route that Square Enix are going to take. But we still need to answer that interview, that response, that two of them could be more than friends. And I ain't seen anyone consider the possibility that two of them could be related, and it would tie with this. It would tie in every way with cosmogony, with Gentiana being ageless, being on this book cover, with Cor Leonis being ages, the parallels, one guiding the oracles, one guiding the kings, and Cor Leonis and Noctis, they could be the ones who are more than just friends. Cor Leonis could be related to Noctis. It makes sense. In fact, that's fucking cool. I hope they do that. That would make Cor Leonis' character so much bigger than I ever anticipated him to be. Him and Gentiana together, they brought chaos to the world. They are responsible for the cycles of Ragnarok, and now they have had to go through the torment of ages of trying to rectify their mistake. And that would make Gentiana and Cor Leonis a strong ship, because of course they were once together. Now, of course it's possible that over the 150 years, which is sort of the timeline I think we've got of when this curse was around, of course Gentiana's and Cor Leonis' relationship could have really fractured and broken apart, and they've gone their separate ways. But what they will both ultimately need to do, if they want to restore the balance of light and dark in the world, they will once again have to get the king and the oracle back together, how it is originally was, how the status quo should be. They should be the balance, the two of them. And we need to look at, if that is what this story is about. If it's about restoring that balance, that Luna, she's going to have to evolve as a person, develop as a person. Gentiana is developing her as a person, strong enough, powerful enough to be the bearer of light. And then Cor Leonis equally is testing the brotherhood, testing Noctis, helping Noctis, evolving Noctis, growing Noctis, so he can be the balance of dark in the world. Who else is doing all of those exact same things, but in just a much darker, more sinister way? Ardyn Izunia. We saw this, we saw him, he brought his fingers together, Noctis and Luna together, Oracle and King together, and that would be fulfilling this prophecy here. And I think you know where I'm going with this, because if Ardyn Izunia is indeed a person who is, one, connected to the crystals, clearly interested in creating the true king via the crystals. Of course, he puts Noctis in the crystal. He puts him in here. What's this black guy dude handing over to this king here? A crystal. It connects. If this is indeed the first times the astrals and the summons were enslaved by mortals to the Lucis, who's going to have a problem with that? This dude here. Who else clearly has a problem or clearly has a grudge? Ardyn Izunia does. He's had a long one for a long time. That could put 150 years of gripe at Ardyn's door. What would he also want to do? Like I've been saying, that I think Ardyn, about the whole thing of him wanting to do something ultimately noble, as removing corrupt gods above gods, the Lucis, it connects. The black wings. Let's just break down those black wings for a start. Who has a black wing? Of course, Ardyn Izunia. It connects. Let's just look at this guy's hair. I know, I'm even getting down to that. That hair is not leagues above being that different from Ardyn Izunia's. Yes, I'm going there. I think this guy, this demon, this demonic, this fallen angel, this guy of chaos, this Bahamut is Ardyn Izunia. And you know, I think that Ardyn Izunia could be Bahamut. He could be the king of the astrals. Him putting on his foot on the Lucis throne, that was him saying, this is the time of the astrals. What else does that connect with? If he is Bahamut, well, I've also connected him to, I mean, it could be Bahamut, it could be any of the other dragon serpent-like creatures I've connected him to. Nidhogg in Norse mythology, the Dark Herald of Ragnarok, the overarching villain of Norse mythology, who I also, and this all connects somehow, I just know it does, the four fiends, the four agents of chaos that FF1 and FF9 both used. One of those is Tiamat, a dragon creature. We've seen the Marilith. I think the Kraken could be Ultros. It's a long shot. And the Lich, I've got some ideas on that, but that's for another time. But if Ardyn Izunia is the fourth agent of chaos, he is the Tiamat, he is the dragon, he could even just be Chaos Bahamut, then that is him. That is him, that is who he is, that is what his role is. He is an agent of chaos, he is an astral. I believe that astrals are born of chaos. Nyx is born of chaos. I believe that Nyx is coming back, whether it's a koala at this point or Ifrit, fuck only knows. But all of these things are made of chaos. The summons, the Lucii, their curse started from this chaos crystal. My chaos theory video is really going to break this all down, as well as tell you exactly what the ring of the Lucii is, which Final Fantasy it comes from. That's gonna blow your mind. And the final piece of the puzzle that I just need to cover over, if Ardyn Izunia is indeed this fallen astral, then he's of course also this person in the Genesis picture. And who's he embracing? Leviathan. And this now makes so much sense, because now that I am seeing this at the right perspective, that the one with the black hair is the king and not the guy with the wings, that finally puts it to bed. Gentiana isn't Leviathan. It isn't her. Thank God. It was just frustrating me so much I couldn't get an answer. But now we know. Gentiana is a Shiva. She's not the Leviathan. But what we also now know is that if Ardyn is this guy, then he has romantic feelings for whoever Leviathan is. No, like I said, that connects with the logo. We've seen Bahamut in the logo. We've seen Leviathan. I've talked about how Bahamut and Leviathan have really sort of almost a king and queen type role in Final Fantasy. Of course, you've got Asura, but Leviathan has been a king at some point. Leviathan has always been really important. They've kind of had a first and second role, and I toyed with the idea that this could be Bahamut and Leviathan, the first ever real romantic relationship between two summons. What does that mean? That means that Ardyn Izunia, who has always kept his cool, who even walks swaggishly up to the throne, says no, with no fear in his eyes, the balls the size of melons, to the point where even Regis is like, God damn, have they got this bold? He walks up, he's so smug, he's so calm, he's so relaxed. He's so confident and powerful in his position in his 150 years that he'll even say, and there's just one small minor detail, oh, they have to get married, as if it's not the most important thing in the world. The Oracle and the King, the balance of light and darkness being together. He's that confident, but when does he lose his cool? When is the only time we have seen Ardyn Izunia lose his cool? It just so happens to be after Lunafreya attacks Leviathan with a beam of light. Why would someone who is so calm and collected lose his cool? Well, if Ardyn Izunia has romantic feelings for Leviathan, who is an astral, who is born of chaos, what banishes darkness? Light. If Ardyn Izunia, who planned to get Noctis to Ortisia, has his plans messed up by Lunafreya, who shows up, hits his beloved Leviathan with a beam of light, something that could seriously destroy a being made of chaos, what will she do? Oh, she will put the fear into Ardyn. She will be the one who breaks his cool. She will be the one who gets a backslap because you basically mess with my woman. And I believe this is the first time that Ardyn Izunia has shown fear. True fear, and this is what the backhanded slap was about. He is romantically involved with whoever Leviathan is, and together what they ultimately want is freedom from mankind, from the corrupt gods above gods, from the servitude, from the slavery. But Ardyn Izunia, aka Bahamut, Tiamat, Nidhogg, there are no lows to which he won't stoop, or boundaries he won't push to restore the true king. To restore this time before chaos was unleashed in the world, where the king was the full, ultimate and complete balance of chaos. And how do we know Ardyn's doing that? Because he's leading Noctis around the world. He's led them to Titan. He's leading them to the locations of the astrals. I've shown my reasoning and my logic for that. To absorb the astrals, absorb all the chaos in the world. The armature weapons, that's absorbing chaos too. And what would then be the final step when he finally arrives in Insomnia? To absorb the last bit, the source of the chaos, it would be the crystal. Ardyn forces Noctis into the crystal to take in all the chaos to make Noctis the true king. And where does Luna come into all of this? Well, it's time to talk about the great tragedy, guys. The tragedy that Tabitha promised us. The tragedy that would make us all cry. Lunafreya, upon arriving and seeing Noctis, Chaos Noctis, containing all the darkness in the world, rampaging on a killing spree, Ardyn has resurrected his true king. What does Lunafreya do? Who we have seen in Kingsglaive is more than happy, more than willing to sacrifice herself. She really was, and that was a red alarm for me, guys. Upon seeing Noctis in this condition, the tragedy is that she could banish Noctis, and with killing Noctis, she would destroy all the darkness in the world, just as she stood on that podium and promised. But would she be able to do it? I think we've seen, based on her feelings for Noctis, that there isn't a hope in hell she would be able to do it. So what does Lunafreya do instead? Well, I believe that she will in some way, somehow, take on the burden of the darkness upon herself, the darkness that is critical to the world, and she will no longer become the oracle. And this is why I believe she would never become a Shiva, because I believe Luna Freya will become a death goddess. I've said this for a while now. I believe that she will take the burden from Noctis and she will become Selene, goddess of the moon, whose Roman counterpart is literally called Luna. Selene, who is sister to Eos, goddess of the dawn, who we have seen is a huge Greek deity being used, and I have no doubt that Selene is being used also, and that there is a reason why Luna's name is Luna, and from day one both Luna and Stella were always referenced and seen besides the halos of moons, and that is so tragic. That really is. That would be the tragedy of Noctis and Luna's relationship, the one that was predestined by the divine. A relationship that from a very young age, from day one, was known to be important and was guided and manipulated by both good guys and bad guys alike. A relationship that two ageless immortals, who both clearly show some very scary parallels to each other, a relationship that they guided. And the question you have to ask yourself is, why did they guide it? How do they know about the relationship of the king and the oracle? How do Cor Leonis and Gentiana know all the things they do know, more so than any other person? And you have to ask yourself the question, is it because Cor Leonis and Gentiana are the first king and queen of Lucis, the first king and oracle who made the dark mistake of accepting a chaos crystal and have since been trying to rectify their mistake? And ask yourself, how will this all end? Oh my! Final Fantasy 15, Square Enix, Tabata, if you deliver on any of this, even a fraction of this, I am going to love this game. And I believe it will, because Tabata, he is the darkest director that Final Fantasy the series has ever had. And I know he will do this. I know he will break our damn hearts. But let me know what you think, guys. Do you think anything I've talked about in this video is possible, is plausible? Are you seeing the links? Are you seeing the connections? Woo! Thanks for watching, guys. Until the next video. Come on!